Dona Maria was 70 years old, lived alone, and loved tending to her garden every Sunday morning. One ordinary morning, she went to retrieve the watering can that had fallen behind the large flower pot. Her foot slipped on the wet mud and she fell to the ground. She didn't scream. She tried to get up. She couldn't. She tried again. Her hands couldn't support the weight. Her operated knee hurt too much to bend. And she stayed there, on the cold backyard floor, for almost 2 hours, until the neighbor passed by and heard her calling for help. When her daughter arrived, Dona Maria wasn't crying because of the fall. She was crying because she thought, if this happens again, I might not be able to live alone anymore. This specific fear is what no one talks about openly, but millions of elderly people feel it. If you imagine desfarente de video, it's likely you recognize this fear. Maybe it's yours. Maybe it belongs to someone you love. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm going to show you it isn't a list of generic exercises. It's a real guide, adapted for those who have pain, limitations, a history with their bodies and still need a solution that truly works. If you are over 60 or care for someone in that age, subscribe to this channel now, because we talk about what really matters at this stage of life. I can bend my operated knee, my hands can hold the weight. I have pain in my hip, I can turn to the side. I did as you showed and almost fell again. The problem isn't a lack of strength. The problem is that most techniques were created for bodies without limitations. In the reality of our bodies after 60, 70, 80 years of age is completely different. A knee prosthesis that doesn't bend more than 90 degrees. Osteoarthritis that makes any pressure on the ground hurt like a knife. A stiff hip that doesn't allow certain rotations. Weakness in the legs that has accumulated from years of involuntary sedentary behavior. Arms that have lost strength due to neuropathy or shoulder problems. Excess weight that completely changes the center of gravity. None of these situations are the signs of weakness of character. They are the physical realities that deserve real responses. And that's exactly what this video will offer. Forcing that limit causes intense pain and can damage the prosthesis. So any technique that requires kneeling completely is ruled out and needs adaptation. Who has severe osteoarthritis, you'll feel like your joints are being crushed when you put weight on the ground. The solution isn't to ignore the pain. It's to redistribute your weight onto larger, more stable surfaces. Who has stiff hip or hip pain will have difficulty with lateral trunk rotation. The side turn, which is the first step in most techniques, can be the biggest obstacle. Who has weakness in the legs due to sarcopenia, the after effects of a stroke, or years of immobility, the individual will need significantly more external support during the transition from the floor to an upright position. Who has herniated due to rotator cuff syndrome or arthritis in the wrists or elbows. You want to be able to push yourself up with your palms open. But there are ways to effectively use your elbows, for the arms, and even objects for support. Who has obesity, you need to understand that the center of gravity changes everything. It's not a matter of effort, it's geometry, and there are specific strategies for that. Who has lower back pain or herniated disc, care must be taken with any movement that excessively bends the spine. There are adaptations that protect the lower back throughout the entire process. Who has fear of falling again, and this is perhaps the greatest obstacle of all, tends to make abrupt, tasty, uncoordinated movements. Fear, paradoxically, increases the risk of a second fall during the attempt to stand up. Understanding your main limitation is the first step, because the strategy changes depending on what your body allows. I'm going to organize each by real situation because the strategy changes depending on where you've landed and what is around you. Right after a fall, the body is still in shock, the muscles are tense, and breathing is rapid. Getting up too quickly increases the risk of dizziness in a second fall. So the first step is always the same: stop, breathe, assess. Are you experiencing intense pain in a specific area? Pain in your hip, thigh, or wrist? If so, do not try to get up on your own. Call for help. Sharp pain after a fall may indicate a fracture, and forcing movement can seriously worsen the injury. If there is no acute pain, then you begin the process. While standing near the sofa, slowly turn to your side towards the side that hurts less, without rushing. Use your arms as a guide, not as the main lever. If your hip doesn't allow for a full rotation, you can do a partial rotation, ending up in a diagonal position. Now, with your elbows on the ground, not your palms, your elbows push gently to raise your torso. This protects your wrists and distributes the effort across your entire forearm. The next step is to position your hands on the sofa seat, not on the edge, in the center of the seat, where the structure is more solid. With both forearms resting on the surface, bend the knee of the no-binding knee and place the flat foot on the floor. It is an adaptation for those with a prosthesis or who can bend one knee. You don't need to bend both. You only need one foot as a point of push-off. The other can remain extended or slightly bent as secondary support. Test each beforehand, without rushing. With one foot on the ground and your arms resting on the sofa, you push, but the momentum comes from your leg, not your arms. Your arms stabilize you. Your leg lifts. When you stand up, don't let go of the sofa immediately. Stay there, holding on, for at least 30 seconds. Allow your circulation to stabilize. Then, carefully, sit down. The side of the bed, especially on box spring beds, offers a foam surface to push against. If the bed has wheels, be careful. It may move when you push off. In that case, try pushing against the side wall of the bed, or use the mattress only as support for your forearms while getting in, not as an active pressure point. For those who have a tense lower back pain when transitioning from the floor to a partial kneeling position, keep your spine as neutral as possible. Avoid bending forward excessively. Using your arms for support on the bed will help keep your torso more upright during the ascent. For those who have a severe weakness in the legs in this case, the bed can be used as a progressive ramp. Instead of trying to get up all at once, you can move from lying down to sitting on the edge of the bed, first a step-by-step process that distributes the effort over time. This is not an exaggerated warning. It is real protection. If you are on the ground and have nothing nearby to support yourself, the safest strategy is to crawl in the nearest support, be it the wall, a sturdy piece of furniture, or the bathroom. Dragging yourself on the ground is to defeat. It is intelligence. And it is much safer than trying to stand up in space and falling again. To crawl safely, turn to the side and use your elbows and knees to propel yourself laterally. If one knee is compromised, use the other as the main point of propulsion. The idea is to reach the wall or a fixed piece of furniture. When you reach the wall, you can use it as support till turn and sit down. A wall does need to help you stand up in the same way a piece of furniture does, but it offers lateral stability and a point of reference for your body to orient itself. For one who lives alone and can't get to any support, we will talk about that in the next segment, because this specific situation deserves special attention. Scenario 4: You live alone and no one will show up. This scenario triggers a silent terror that many elderly people who live alone carry with them. Dona Maria lay on the ground for 2 hours. There are cases of people who stay there much longer, and the problem isn't just physical, it is the emotional strain, dehydration, hypothermia on cold days, and hypoglycemia in people with diabetes. If you live alone, preparation begins before the fall. First, an emergency call device within reach. It doesn't have to be expensive. It could be keeping your cell phone in your apron pocket, wearing a panic button on your wrist, or arranging a daily contact team with a neighbor or family member. If you don't get touched by Nini in the morning, someone will come to you. Second, identify the support points in each room beforehand. This sounds excessive until you need each at 3 in the morning, in the bathroom, without your glasses, with your heart racing. Third, if you fall and one is coming to show up, conserve your energy. Don't keep trying to get up repeatedly until you are exhausted. Rest. Try an organized way. If you can't manage it, call for help. Crying out for help is not shameful. It is wisdom. Yet I need to say something that goes against what many people think. Accepting help when you need it is not losing independence. It is exercising autonomy over your own safety. The pain is immediate and intense. Enforcing it can cause real damage. The adaptation is to completely eliminate the kneeling phase from the sequence. Instead of going through the quadruped position, the 4 points of support, you will make a direct transition from the side-lying position to a sitting position, using the support of the sofa or bed. It is how, lying on your side with your elbows on the floor, you push your torso upwards while keeping your hips on the floor. You reach a position that looks like a mermaid, torso raised, hips and legs still on the floor. In this position, you place your hands on the sofa seat, fingers pointing upwards, not downwards, to protect your wrists and rotate your hips. bringing your buttocks up onto the seat, without using your knees at any point in the process. This requires practice before you need it, in that SEL preparation comezinho which we talk about in another video, dedicated specifically to that. If you have limitations in the shoulders or compromised rotator cuff, using palms facing outwards can be impossible or painful. The alternative is to use bent elbows as a support point on the sofa seat, pushing with your forearms instead of your hands. Less elegant, completely functional. I know what to do, but everything freezes up at the last minute. This is not weakness. This is neuroscience. When you fall, your nervous system goes into alert mode. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for organized reasoning, takes a back seat. The survival system takes over. Each wants immediate action, not strategy. That's why people who know the correct technique try to lift it haphazardly, in a disorganized way, and fall again. The solution is to create a mental anchor first and foremost. A simple ritual that you practice when you are feeling well, so that your body recognizes each in times of crisis. It can be as simple as fall, stop, breathe 3 times, assess, move, 5 words, memorized consciously, repeated in training, available when most needed. This isn't the self-help psychology. It is practical conditioning, the same principle that saves lives in emergency situations in any context. Is it about being able to do your own gardening, bending down to plant, without depending on someone to help you get up? Is it about being able to live in your own home, the way you want, without having to move to a place with a caregiver because a fall showed you can no longer manage on your own? These are not small fears. They are the questions of identity, of dignity, of continuing to be the protagonist of one's own story. In the ability to get up from the ground is, in a very concrete way, one of the physical skills that most directly connects with this autonomy, not because falling is inevitable, although statistically it is more common with age, but because knowing that you can recover, if you need to, completely changes the relationship you have with your own body. If you have recently had knee, hip, or spine surgery, do not attempt any of these techniques without authorization from your doctor or physical therapist. The limits of movement after surgery are individual and specific. What is safe for one person may be contraindicated for another. If you experience intense pain at rest, persistent numbness in your legs, or sudden loss of strength, seek medical evaluation before attempting any floor-based mobility exercises. If you fall and feel sharp pain in your hip, thigh, or wrist, don't try to get up. Call for help. It could be a fracture. Removing a fracture without immobilization can turn a treatable situation into something much more serious. Taking care of your body is part of the process of maintaining independence. These two goals are not contradictory, they go hand in hand. It is about being able to play with your grandchildren without that nagging voice in the background saying, "What if I fall?" It is about planting in your backyard, walking through the market, living your home with confidence. Aging with autonomy is not luck. It is preparation. It is information. It is the decision to continue being the protagonist, even when the body changes. You deserve techniques that respect your body as it is today, not as it was at 40. Now, watch the video that is playing on the screen. It will take you straight to the next step in you want to miss it.